How's it going, people? Jack here with another reaction. Today I'll be checking out a video from DougDoug on his D&D campaign, or should I rather say his chat's D&D campaign. As somebody who hasn't been in an organized campaign of D&D with their friends since university, that is like 2 years ago, I miss the amount of insane shenanigans that can occur through a simple session. You are going to have to excuse me if I'm just constantly laughing throughout the entire video, because I suppose that this is what is going to happen, and let's be honest, that's what you're here for. That being said though, without further ado, let us jump into this one.
Dominate your foes with the all-new
The
DougDoug
mug. I've ordered one.
Parks or toys, the least drinkable
I guess I'll receive it in a couple of weeks.
Giant top of ultimate spilling action.
This mug hole is huge!
It holds up to 32 liters of fluid to crush your enemies. Engineered to be literally indestructible.
I cannot be the only one who just saw the one man, one jar there for a second. Dude.
Is not responsible for injury or death by mug. After
okay,
the huge
change of
success
camera
of my
here.
Dungeons & Dragons campaign with Twitch chat that I put a ton of time and effort into, I decided to do the exact opposite of that and create the worst D&D campaign that I possibly could by making up literally everything on the spot and drawing it horribly in Photoshop, then having Twitch chat control the characters and try to beat the campaign. This is total improv D&D. And to start this off, we'll need to create 3 different characters for Twitch chat to play. Maybe we pick a class first, and then we decide from there? People are saying chef, bard, otter, and dwarf are like the race, right? Okay, so I guess chef. There's like big poof-poofs, right? Like
otter.
What is it? Is it an otter? Is it a dwarf? Is it something else? Somebody just said American, just like an American dude. Goblin. It's a frying pan? Like it's a chef frying pan? It's a bee.
I
mean, sure.
Sometime we've had
Oh, rat would actually
objects.
be pretty good for Ratatouille. All right, any of these jump out at you guys for what it is? Looks like we are torn between him being a frying pan or a rat. Okay, he is going to be a frying pan. Chef.
Can one of the characters just be a bear? Like a normal confused bear?
There's just no context for why there's a confused bear with them. Okay, does that look like a chef frying pan to you guys?
Definitely.
This would be the character.
Give the frying pan a guys and a bacon smile.
It needs a mustache. It's a chef after all. Looks
Bacon
like
smile.
the Pringles guy.
It looks like a frying pan.
Issues.
Can we name the chef Jeff?
We need to give Frying Pan a name.
We will give him a name, yes. In fact, let's do that now. Jeff, a lot of people seemed excited about. Gerald. Pringle. I don't think he looks... I mean, a little bit, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, happy to introduce you to
Eggbird.
Pringle, the
Could have
chef
been a good
frying
one.
pan. So his class is chef. Move 1.
He can deal fire damage and heal allies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fireball, just like burn people's hands. It's not like he does a lot of damage. He just like gives people burns, like uncomfortable burns on their hands. And he could like cook eggs. It'll just be let him cook is
Let
the
him
move.
cook.
And then you just figure out what that means. Okay, let him cook is his first move. We'll give him 2 moves.
He
And
can
also
cook a meal once a day and heal all allies / status.
cook food.
Oh,
for
that's
allies.
smart.
Pansexual. That doesn't mean anything. Grease
Infinite
fire.
Riz.
I do like grease fire as an attack. Pansexual is
Sizzling
I
Riz.
guess, okay, so the pansexual pride could be seduce an enemy. Oh, that's a good one. Scramble. Swap places with another character. Okay, we'll do moves 3 and 4. Pansexual pride and scramble. Really quick, we're gonna write down a few personality traits that you can try to adhere to. Ready, set, go.
Very hot.
Hot? Oh, very spicy. Like a spicy personality. That's good. He's French. Okay. Hot, strong, and sweet. Very food critical. I think we got
Metalhead.
our character. He's like a very snooty food critic. Welcome.
Egbert.
No, it's not his name. Pringle! Welcome,
Pringle.
Pringle, to the party. Suggestions for character number 2. What do you got?
The
Chair
bear.
character. I don't want to do another inanimate object. I guess we can make it a chair. Just if our team is a frying pan and a chair, that's fucking stupid.
Bear.
Okay, a lot of people have talked about a bear, a caveman, a window. Guys, you're too set on inanimate objects, I think. I think bear is more interesting than chair, personally. We could add
T-Rex.
he has a move where he
Quarterback.
transforms into a chair. I don't know why he would do that. Okay, but if that's one of his moves, the chair doesn't do anything. Wild shape. The bear will be a druid. Okay, I will now draw a beautiful bear. Watch greatness.
Oh no. That already looks more like a lion.
I'm going quick here, okay? Don't worry too much about the bear's anatomy.
This
oh my
bear is
god,
amazing.
lion with
Absolutely
scoliosis.
beautiful.
This bear is really gonna come together once we pour him full of brown. incredible.
I think that's a lion with dysmorphia.
He's a beautiful bear.
Yeah.
We need a name for him. Garfield? Bear. Barry. These are
Barry
not
Bonds.
very good names. Egg? There's one guy who said polio, so I'll throw that in. Okay, it looks like Egg 1.
I mean, to be fair, looking at the back of that thing,
Egg 1. We need some moves.
to which I know polio does not exactly deform the spine. It hits the spine at certain spots where it then paralyzes the bottom half, usually, of the infected, which then later on weakens the muscles, making them look like shriveled and shrinking in the way that they are. Yeah, my mom's stepdad has polio, and when I was younger I actually thought that it was like a birth defect that he was born with, but yeah, came to learn about the true nature of his illness when I grew up.
For our bear
I
druid.
love eggs so damn much.
So move number 1 is do cocaine. What was the other one? Is like shapeshift into a chair, right? People are saying the third move is polio. That's just a disease. Like, what does this mean? Okay, so he uses the move and then he just gets polio? So his moves are to do cocaine, turn into a chair, and get polio. Okay, what is the other personality traits? He'd be like confused, has polio. That's not a personality
He's a
trait.
druid.
He likes honey. I guess he hates eggs. Okay, sure. Use small words. Ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to introduce character number 2, Egg the confused drug addict bear.
I will never look at Halcyon the same. Like, can you imagine him from Baldur's Gate 3? Looking shriveled, like all of his muscles just shrinking because of polio. I mean, you can have a build where he's literally just casting toxins, which was the way that I built him. But yeah, I will never look at Halcyon the same again.
Druid. What class is player number 3? Like an archer, monk, or something. Lawyer is funny. Pregnant. Pregnant is not a clue class. Bounty hunter. Bounty hunter could actually be pretty good. Arsonist. Okay, did any of these jump out? Single mom is not really a class.
Polio or poliomyelitis is a disabling and life-threatening disease caused by the poliovirus. It's basically a fancy paralysis
Wait, hold
spell.
on. So polio will paralyze
paralyzes the
the bear.
spinal
The
cord.
other move that he has is to turn into a chair, which basically paralyzes him. 2 of his moves are just paralyzing him himself. The others.
I mean, it could be that it stacks, that if he gets paralysis upon paralysis, that they cancel each other out or something. I mean, we've had the worst thing happen to inanimate objects in our campaigns.
Doing cocaine. Egg sucks. We voted that our third character is an arsonist, which is a great combo with our bear.
The bear gives polio.
Does he give polio, or does he just get polio? Everybody gets polio. Because that way he can be like, hey, allies, get down. I'm about to polio! And then he just like booms like a mushroom and spreads polio spores everywhere, or however polio spreads. Babe, I'm gonna polio. Okay, we have an arsonist. What is it? Goblin, chicken is fine. Pyro from TF2. Okay, that actually kind of works, yeah. Make a demon. Oh, yeah, it could just be like a hell demon.
A tree.
So stupid.
Burning
A
tree.
snowman? Wouldn't he melt a guy, just a normal guy from Missouri? If it's just a random dude, why is he an arsonist? The joke of him being a normal guy doesn't really work with him being an arsonist. You know what I mean? Isekai main character. So he got isekai'd into this world, but he just is an arsonist. It looks.
I mean, Missouri is known for their dust bowls, aren't they? While, of course, dust isn't exactly directly caused by incendiary means. Global warming by a guy caused by a guy from Missouri. Sounds about lore accurate to me.
Looks like it's gonna be just a guy from Missouri. But if he's just normal, there's no like personality.
His personality is that he wants to get back to Missouri.
Okay, fine. A normal guy from Missouri wins. Guy from Missouri.
Wow. Oh no.
Okay.
Can he be in the shape of Missouri?
But he's a normal guy.
He's perfect.
This guy sucks. We do need, though, a name. A lot of excitement for Bob. Sorry. That's too confusing. I won't be able to differentiate between the two. Mr. Zuri. Misery. Point Crow.
Name him Douglas
John
Douglas.
McClane.
Well, hold on. That guy doesn't look like me. That'd be confusing, because then we wouldn't know whether we're talking about me or not. We could have him be called Doug. But I think we can agree Bob is
The
probably the best.
resemblance is uncanny.
Okay, happy to introduce Doug, an arsonist from Missouri. So, Doug the arsonist, what's his first move? Does he have a flamethrower or just like a box of matches?
Is this the
A comically large match.
No, I feel like a normal guy wouldn't have a flamethrower. He has a Bic lighter. Number 2, a lot of people are saying depression. That's not really a move. You don't do anything with that. I guess it's no different than polio, but tax fraud. How would that help grow weed? Okay, move number 2 is to grow weed. Doug is such a chill dude. He does not look chill. What is his third move? I'm seeing a lot of depression.
Tax evasion.
I'm seeing a lot of tax evasion. Spill gasoline. I do like that one. Flame punch. Hold on. That's very like fantasy-esque. So you're saying his moves should be having a Bic lighter, growing weed, and flame punch. And then he's just randomly an anime character with one of his moves. Sure. Somebody said beat up 6th graders. What? It's too specific. Go ahead and vote. Apparently his third move is gonna be beat up 6th graders. However, technically when you're playing him, you could set your hand on fire with your Bic lighter and then punch somebody. Midlife crisis will be his personality, I guess. Terrified of polio.
Divorced and just wants to go home.
Okay, divorced fits with this guy. Tax evasion is not really a personality. We'll say hates taxes. Alcoholic. We didn't really give him alcohol though. We'll just say addicted to stuff.
Has a criminal record.
Yeah. May I present Doug, the arsonist guy from Missouri.
I wish this Doug was streaming.
Now that we have our 3 characters, we need to create a map of the world. This is going to decide where the campaign starts and where the campaign ends and all of the locations that they could visit along the way. This is the kingdom of blank. Our 3 adventurers, Pringles, Egg, and Doug, are going to travel through blank, 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 and blank to go to the castle to save the king from blank. And they'll have to blank along the way if they want to blank. So here's what I'm thinking. We do like a bunch of paths and then there'll be new spots. So you can like decide where to go at each fork, right? And what we need to decide is what are the locations that you can travel between. The first question is though, what is happening to the king? What is the goal?
King has polio.
What? Okay.
He needs some weed.
The king needs weed for his wedding. Save Queen Rosa. She was kidnapped. The king is trying to nuke a dragon.
Okay, that could actually be fun in a fantasy setting.
Compelling story. Ideally, there's a reason, like there's a thing you're trying to go do.
King is stuck on his throne, and he needs help.
King got stuck on the throne. 6th graders are trying to nuke the castle. All right, what is the goal of our story? It looks like our brave heroes are going to stop the 6th graders trying to nuke the castle. Now that we know how the story ends, we need to fill out what are all the spaces between. As you travel across the land of...
Hold on. How old are you again when you are a 6th grader? That's like 11, 12 years old? That's right before you get into the teenage years and you turn into a demon. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Canada. As you travel across the land of Canada, which Doug got isekai'd into, I guess, we need to come up with all the locations that you might come across on your way there. Maple Syrup River. Okay, I can find. We need to have just a typical tavern. Ex-Queen's Tavern. Sure.
An old-timey schoolhouse with 6th graders.
Yeah, I think a schoolhouse is a good idea.
Otter pirates.
Meth mines.
Fantasy Quebec.
Crystal meth mines.
Oh, Toll Bridge is good. Okay, there's a geese volcano. And now that our map is completed, we are ready to begin the adventure. So, I selected 3 random Twitch chatters to play the role of each character, and we headed out on the road. Welcome to the adventure of Canada! A missive has just arrived for our noble heroes! Who I need to put on here? The king is in danger, they hear! There's 6th graders with nukes at the Blurry Castle! We need your help! Eager to save the king, the 3 heroes set out on an adventure across the lands of fantasy Canada to save the beloved Blurry King. Adventurers, where would you like to head out first? The Ex-Queen's Tavern or the Rickety Bridge?
If we go to the tavern, I can grow and sell weed.
Why would they let you sell weed in the tavern?
The tavern might
To
be
earn
a
money.
good place to judge their food. After all, my quest is to prove I am the best chef ever.
True. That's 2 votes for the Queen's Tavern. That means we're heading over there. I just realized that...
Tavern!
Thanks, Egg. Okay, the party is officially traveling to the Ex-Queen's Tavern. Chat, this is the Queen's Tavern. What is going to be the activity happening in the tavern? Okay, there could be a bar fight.
If there's a bar fight, I can join and beat up a 6th grader.
I guess it depends who's fighting in the bar fight. There's a cook-off happening, drinking competition. Queen is getting remarried? Karaoke night. Illegal bear fighting ring.
D!
Okay,
That
it
makes
looks
sense.
like there's gonna be a bear fighting ring happening in the tavern. That's my queen. Let me draw up the tavern real quick. Guys, this looks fucking awful.
That's some Warcraft shit.
Please give a warm welcome to Queen... What is her name? No, Rosa is an otter. Not everything is Rosa.
Rosalind.
Okay, Queen Rosalind.
Floor ceiling!
And now I need like a goblin. Because if I make a goblin, I can just reuse it. Now we got a
it's
goblin.
not bad.
Okay, adventurers, you enter into the Queen's Tavern, a famous establishment. Inside, you notice a bunch of patrons sitting around at tables. You see Queen Rosaline standing behind the bar. But in the center of the bar are two bears fighting in what is clearly an illegal fighting bear ring. You hear the patrons screaming and chanting, "Bear fight! Bear fight!" What do?
Phase 1, my plan is to grow weed.
Okay, where? You see the bears
Get them
fighting
elevated.
each other.
Are there any plant pots around?
For sure, yeah. You notice that next to the fireplace, there are a couple pots with like dirt in them.
I take one and huddle over it, starting to grow weed.
Okay, Doug moves to the pots of dirt in the corner.
Must save the bears.
He starts planting
So
weed
must
in
run
the
to the
pots.
fire and make popcorn. The noise and smells will cause a distraction.
Pringle, the
Okay, I
frying
was
pan,
about to say
runs
just to
over
watch
to
the
the
show.
fireplace stove and starts throwing popcorn kernels inside of it.
Egg brick cage.
Egg, meanwhile, tries to break into the bear pit. As you do this, Queen Rosalind screams out, "No, what are you doing? I have so much money riding on this bear fight." Let's see if you can break into it. You are a strong bear, so let's say you need
no.
12 or above, and you break in. 17! Egg the bear
Nice.
bursts in, and right as the bears were starting fighting, "Rah!" What do you say?
Running.
You yell, "Runyon!" But the bears don't appear to be very smart, so they're just staring at you like bears. In the meantime, let's see if your weed is
Yeah,
growing. 15 or
Those
above,
don't look
the
like
weed
smart
starts-
bears.
The weed doesn't look like it's getting enough sunlight. Let's see if the popcorn's succeeding. 20!
Nice.
The popcorn
Not
starts
20.
bursting so intensely and so violently.
Can I throw some of the popcorn outside the door and have the bears follow?
Yes, your popcorn bursts out of the fireplace. It's absolutely massive, and you start hurling popcorn towards the door. The confused bears who are just staring at Egg see the food. They look malnourished. Using the gap in the bear cage, they both run out the door. Queen Rosalind screams out, "No,
I take
my
some
bears!"
of the popcorn in hopes of selling it later.
Okay, Doug grabs popcorn. Queen Rosalind tries to run after you guys to get her bears back. Do you do anything in the meantime?
Do cocaine.
Okay, Coke is not very hard to do, so 3 or above and you do Coke.
Oh, I just realized it's cocaine bear. Okay, fine. Now the cocaine part makes sense.
Okay, you drop the... Egg drops his cocaine on the floor. Oh, shit!
I'm going to beat up a 6th grader by throwing them at Queen Rosalind.
Meanwhile, Doug goes and grabs one of these goblins who seems to be pretty young. Looks like he's in 6th grade probably. Grabs him and then attempts to throw the goblin at the queen. Doesn't work. 16 or above. Oh, only an 11. Instead, you just throw the goblin onto the floor. This is the worst class I've ever been to.
Can cover the floor with popcorn butter to make the queen slip?
You used most of your butter up
Does the
here.
6th grader land in the cocaine?
Yeah. So you accidentally throw the 6th grader directly onto the cocaine pile, and you see him sniffing into it accidentally. You don't have much butter left because you used it in the thing, but if you get a 16 or above...
Oh shit.
Oh, shit. Not only do you not manage to throw butter on the floor, you accidentally spill some into this bear's eyes. And now he's running around, whoa, confused. The other bear manages to escape, though. The goblin gets up, and he is... really, really fucking high. He's so hyped up and so angry at Rosalind for dragging him out of his classroom into this bear fight that he tries to attack Queen Rosalind. 17 or above, and he hits. 17!
Damn.
The goblin lunges on top of Rosalind and starts pulling at her hair, and she screams, "No! My beautiful hair!" Meanwhile, one bear has escaped, the other is confused because he has butter in his eyeballs. Queen Rosalind is distracted by the goblin.
Lunge it,
I'm going to use my Bic lighter to set the queen on fire.
Okay, Egg the bear lunges on top of the queen, helps pin her down while Doug rolls up with his Missouri Bic lighter. Doug pushes the Bic lighter over Queen Rosalind. 9 or above. You'll manage to succeed. 15!
the queen's
And
dead.
suddenly, boom! A giant fire erupts! Her hair sets ablaze, crackling and booming! Look at the CGI! Look at the effects! And you watch as the evil Queen Rosalind slowly melts
with the
into a
monarchy.
puddle because she was
Arson
evil.
rules.
And the fire slowly fades away, leaving behind just like a really flat queen.
Hey, more butter.
You guys have managed to defeat the small business owner, and you got some 6th grader really high.
Does she have any money on her?
Okay, Doug is gonna check Queen Rosalind's evil entrepreneurial body for treasure. Here's what we're gonna do. I want 4 suggestions for treasure. A gun. I mean, that feels a bit on the nose, but...
A fork of true striking.
Okay, fork of lifting. You can lift people up with the fork. $50. Hairspray? Why would you want... Oh, because it's... Okay, hairspray. And then the 4th option is the friends we made along the way.
Hairspray for Flemingthrower.
Can I find
Nothing.
the building ownership paperwork to add the tavern to my new food empire?
Yeah, that's good. Deed to the tavern. Okay, there are 5 potential treasures that you could win. Based off this die roll, we will determine what you find inside Queen Rosalind's pockets. It is... the friends we made along the way! That's the real treasure here. Bears! Yeah, the bears return and they live happily ever after. All right, anything else you guys want to do before you leave?
I'm taking the cocaine goblin. He will be my go-to attack.
Goob,
I'm also grabbing the weed I grew.
Cocaine Goblin is on your team now. He is still pretty high, and he does say, hey, can you guys take me back to school? It's near the castle. And the adventurers head off, having made the world just a little bit better.
Off to Missouri.
Okay, Goob is TTS. From now on, if you guys do TTS messages, you are representing Goob, the Cocaine Goblin. The party chose to adventure into either the Maple Syrup River or the Cheese Woods. What did they decide?
Cheese Woods. I'm hungry.
Cheese.
Technically, we have 4 people now.
Cheese Woods.
Okay, well now it's decided. And thus, the party advanced forward, past the tavern, and into the Cheese Woods. Let's find out what that means. Question, what are the Cheese Woods? Okay, rat infestation. Like,
Hey,
what are
Doug,
they doing?
Thanks for saving me from that lady. I feel better than I have in years. Can you ask the bear to give me more of whatever that was?
Goob, you don't need more, unless Egg wants to give you more. Witches are turning people into cheese trees. That's the dark secret of the cheese forest. Rat mafia who demands cheese as payment to pass. The trees are melting,
that's just
and
cave-in
there's
behavior.
a rat mafia king stuck in the melted cheese. There's a witch who's melting the trees, and the rat mafia are drowning in it. All right, looks like there's gonna be a witch who's melting the trees. Time to do the best drawing of my life. The trees are like melting cheese out like this. Okay, now I need a witch.
We should let those 6th graders nuke the king and instead just watch a movie and do metric shit tons of cocaine. What do you say, team?
I mean, you can just leave the scenario if you want.
That's not ethical, Goob. Let's do it.
Hey, fuck you, Pringle. You look like a limbless stick figure. Anyway, hi, Egg, you look real cool if you give Goob meth.
Ouch. Screw you, Goob. It'll cook you next.
For you, I add a little top hat and a gun.
Wow.
I like it. Suddenly, the party enters the cheese forest. Goob is immediately asking for more cocaine from Egg the Bear. But as you look out, you see rats drowning in a giant pool of melted cheese. It seems the cheese trees themselves are being melted, and you realize that the witch on the other side is cackling mysteriously with high graphical fidelity sparks coming out of her hand. Team, what do you do?
Give Goob go. Flirt with Mob Rat.
Egg the Bear comes over to Goob and gives him more cocaine. Doug and Pringle,
Goob
what are you doing?
challenges the witch to a cocaine snorting contest. Whoever does the most lines gets to decide what to do with the rat.
Can I swap
They're both
places with
green.
the witch and let Doug handle her?
Yes. Pringle steps up and uses their move. Scramble! In a big poof, Pringle appears on the other side of the cheese pool, and the witch appears right here next to you. Right then, Goob walks up with his
Good luck,
cocaine
Doug.
and says,
Goob, I hope she kills you.
yo, you want to do a coke contest? Let's see how convincing he is. This is not a great argument because she's terrified, 17 or above, and she's down.
Long noses, both of them.
She actually does look pretty tempted for a second. It says, you know what? You guys are total strangers, but maybe I'll consider it. What are you guys doing here? You see in the background that the rats are sinking farther into the cheese. And you hear a faint little squeaky noise. Hey, get me out of this Parmigiano Reggiano! With even like a muffled gunshot in the background.
Knew my rat breeds.
I will use the Bic lighter to try and set the witch on fire. For the mafia.
I'm not clear why you guys are so pro-mafia, really, but Doug runs up to the witch and tries to use a Bic lighter on her. 16 or above, and you light her on fire. A nat 20! You pour the Bic lighter over her hat. It turns out the hat is very, very flammable. Hold on. I need to prepare more CGI.
Oh no.
And as he leans the Bic lighter towards her hat, you see a gigantic whoosh as she blows up in flames rats and stuff. Oh my god.
Fuck.
Wow. And the graphics are insane. The witch is like super flammable for some reason. And as she starts burning to the ground alive, she says, I was just trying to help the rats. You guys didn't even ask me what was going on.
I thought I was the chef,
but
Doug is the one who's really cooking.
The horrible witch. Good thing we have Doug.
Let Doug cook.
In the meantime, you see the rats are slipping just a little bit farther into the cheese.
Eat cheese, save mob rats.
Goob starts snorting the cheese.
Okay, Egg and Goob both run up to the cheese. Goob starts snorting it. Egg is roaring and eating.
I reach my handle out to the rat boss to save him.
Pringle reaches his handle. You can see by the way that I happen to draw this that he just barely has the distance to reach out to the rat. And the rat, because one hand is holding a gun, he's disadvantaged and he refuses to give up the gun. I'm not giving up my gun! The mafia needs the guns! But he tries to reach
such
out
a New
with his left
Yorker.
paw. 16 or above and he'll actually grab it. 7! The Rat Mafia King. He's slipping further in. Even the gun is starting to fall into the cheese. He says, no! I can't lose the gun!
Eat harder.
These guys over here are eating extremely hard. Egg, let's say you're eating towards this rat. 16 or above, and you'll make a path to him. Nat 20! Egg just absolutely blitzes through the cheese. He barges a path through it all the way to the rat and manages to pull him out of the cheese and you see his body as you pull him out. You hear the main mafia rat yell out, if you don't save me soon, I'm gonna shoot you in the head as my last action, Pringle!
Can I use pansexual seduction on the saved rat to make him leave his comrades behind
totally
and
forgot
stay
about
in my
that.
hat?
Okay. While the mafia rat is screaming, help me, I'm almost dead! Pringle walks over to the rat and you shout, leave behind your mafia brethren. Join me in my hat. It's not a particularly compelling environment. Let's say 14 or above and you convince him.
Oh.
Your pansexual seduction almost worked. He says, I want to join you, but let me at least make sure my boss is okay. And he leaps into the cheese and starts trying to swim towards the boss.
This is somehow Goob's fault.
He's running towards the mafia boss. 14 or above and he makes it. 17! So he manages to swim to the mafia boss and start pulling him out of the cheese. He is delaying the inevitable, but the mafia boss is still stuck.
Can I try to grow weed so I can use it to make a rope to throw to the mafia boss?
Yeah, I don't know if you'll...
I help.
Doug starts trying to grow marijuana again.
Let him cook.
It's not like an ideal environment for it, and you don't have a lot of time.
Wait, is he going to turn into Tarzan in a bit? Please don't turn him into Tarzan. Louisiana Tarzan just swinging about with weed.
But if you get a 19 or above, the weed grows right now. Oh, unfortunately the weed is not growing yet.
Turn into a chair so I can try to pull up the mafia boss with it.
Seeing that the situation is dire, Egg the bear, who so far has managed to save one rat but couldn't quite get to the second, sees what he has to do. And he turns into a chair.
That's 4 legs.
Meanwhile, the rat
so
mafia
can grab
boss
onto
says,
them.
why the fuck are you turning into a chair? But the word chair is actually cut off because his mouth is starting to go into the cheese. What exactly are you doing with the chair, Doug?
To hand one edge to the mafia boss.
Okay, Doug moves forward onto the path and then picks up the chair bear and holds out the chair towards the mafia boss. This is his last hope.
Fight it, you stupid rat!
Let me on the end of the chair, I'll reach in for him.
Goob also runs onto the chair and tries to reach out.
Hey Goob, the third rat has some cocaine. Go help him.
Goob goes, oh really? And starts trying to swim to this rat. Let's see if the rat mafia boss grabs onto the chair successfully. 15 or above, and he grabs on, otherwise he drowns.
Oh.
5!
No.
And you watch as the mafia rat leader's head slowly is submerged underneath the cheese. And you hear him yelling, fuck you! And muffled gunshots.
Can we leave Goob with him?
As he fires his pistol pointlessly into the cheese. The last rat, though, still sinking. Goob is attempting to run over, but Goob is trying to swim through the cheese. 15 or above, and he does it successfully. 7! Goob is now drowning in the cheese! And he yells out, anybody have more cocaine? Meanwhile, the last rat is like, oh shit, my boss! What the fuck do I do now?
Use chair powers.
Egg uses the chair powers, which is to be a chair.
Guys, what the hell? Stop trying to replace me and get me out of here. Can't you make a
Has the weed grown yet?
If you get a 19 or above, the weed is grown. No. Goob is screaming angrily.
I turned the entire river into a giant cheese ball with my move Let Him Cook.
Okay, Pringle says, I'll help you out, Rat, if you'll join us, and uses the Let Him Cook move, which apparently, because we didn't establish this, turns the entire river into a cheese ball. You see it suddenly solidify into a huge
Pringle, why didn't you do this earlier?
puffy mass.
That's my frying pan.
Unfortunately, because you did this while they were
Goob to drown first.
inside the cheese river, they are now permanently encased inside this giant cheese puff. And you see
that's
that
fine. At least they're
Goob
not
starts
drowning.
screaming, why is this river? It's so
Just
hard.
as planned.
And now, do you pitch the rat anything?
Can I hit Goob with the chair?
You Goob more coke. Doug walks with the chair and proceeds to beat the shit out of Goob. His head
Child
above
abuse.
and you beat him to death.
Doug eat them out of the cheese ball goo.
You're just beating him. Pringle suggested you eat Goob out.
Be a bear, give Goob Coke.
Okay. The chair poofs out of existence, and suddenly Egg the Bear reappears, who proceeds to run down and grab this cocaine. It says, here, Goob, and jams it into Goob's nostrils.
Don't eat Goob out.
Well, don't say it like that.
Goob has had enough of this shit and decides to try and reach the lighter that Doug left on the ground and light the cheese oils that have risen to the top of the cheese to burn everyone to death.
I mean, to be fair, the cocaine would have made him a bit more slender, and given that he was turned into hardened cheese, then he could have just slipped out. Don't do cocaine, kids.
Okay, that's kind of fucked up and dark. But Doug is right next to him with the Bic lighter. And Goob, with his free arm, grabs the Bic lighter and attempts to set the cheese puff on fire. This is a terrible idea, but he's high on cocaine, so he's gonna do it anyways.
Metal, so this won't kill me anyway. Checkmate, Goob, you little
12
shit.
or above, and it succeeds. Goob says, I'll take y'all down with me! And this rat who's still here is like, wait, why? And suddenly, a giant fireball erupts! The cheese oil spreads rapidly and soon
Rat,
the
quick,
entire
jump
thing's
into
on
my
fire!
hat before this shit kills us all.
Okay, Pringle makes one last plead at the rat. The rat is now very convinced. 6 or above and he joins.
Run!
11!
Yeah.
Rat says, yeah, okay, and jumps into your hat. Pringle runs away and gets the fuck out of there. Egg the Bear also tries to run
I
away
wish
from
I
the fire.
hit good harder.
Egg starts trying to run as the fire is spreading. 11 or above and you make it out.
Yes, you are my new sous chef,
Nice.
Egg runs out.
He'll run too.
Doug tries to run as well. 11 or above.
Should have just left the goblin to begin
16!
with.
Doug manages to escape, and you hear in the background, very, very faintly, as the 3 party members run off with a new party member, I guess, because of the rat. Does anybody have more cocaine?
Fuck you, Goob.
And the party has successfully survived the horrors of the cheese forest.
Oh no! My half-grown weed!
Oh yeah, I guess it'll burn.
I miss
This could have all been avoided if it just had a conversation with the witch.
Goob.
How do you miss him? Next, our heroic, noble adventurers move on east towards the otter pirates, or up to the volcano geese nest.
Hey gang, I hear
Volcano.
volcanic geese taste delicious. We should try and cook them.
Interesting.
Bears eat otters, probably.
That volcano would be sweet to blaze some weed in.
Okay, looks like we're heading to the volcano geese nest due to the potential for marijuana and cooking. I will say, let's roll a nat 20 to see if Goob...
It already has the smoke,
20,
so it's
then
gonna
somehow he-
spread a lot further.
Okay. Sorry, Goob. And the party headed north to the volcano geese nest.
Well, our Twitch chat has managed to burn a woman to death, hurt a bear, introduce coke to a child, burned an innocent, and now burned a child and rat to death. What
Actually-
a good party.
Burned 2 women to death. Okay, we have a volcano scene. What
Yeah,
should happen?
true.
The geese are committing a human sacrifice. That's so aggressive. Okay, volcano is filled with
Can I drink lava?
incredibly hot salsa. The geese are trying to eat a family of coke gremlins.
If it's the goose from the I Am Goose game, then yeah, I totally believe that they would actually do a human sacrifice.
Everybody on coke in Fantasy Canada?
Canadian geese sacrificing Canadians.
Fantasy Canadians. There's a cook-off. I'm worried if we do a cook-off between the geese, you guys are just going to set everybody on fire and
Geese
leave.
are trying to sacrifice humans for a salsa dinner.
Okay, geese are sacrificing goblins to add flavor.
Hi geese feeding their munches on the hot salsa.
Not everybody needs to be high. You can get them high. Geese in the middle of a drug deal. I just feel like it's just been drugs and mafia.
Geese are having 5th grade graduation ceremony at the volcano.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Within the context
All right,
of
looks
the
like
game.
the geese are going to be sacrificing goblins into the volcano salsa to add flavor. That's good because I already have the goblins drawn.
I think it should be a Canadian goose, Doug.
This could be a goose, a Canadian goose, probably. Guys, this bird fucking sucks. I hate this guy. The party, after traveling for days, approaches the gigantic volcano. And as they emerge at the top of the rim and look down into the crater, they're horrified or delighted to see a bunch of goblins drowning in what appears to be a gigantic pool of salsa. Ah! Meanwhile, 3 more goblins are being pushed off the edge of like a diving board thing by 3 gigantic Canadian geese. And this geese is maybe high also.
Why?
Immediately, the rat jumps into your hat and says, I'm scared, protect me, Pringle.
I'll keep you safe, little buddy.
Team, what do you want to do?
I tell the goose Baba Ziwa.
Okay, you go up to the edge of the crater. Bellow out with your loudest bear voice. Baba Ziwa! And unless you get a nat 20, nothing happens. That doesn't mean anything, but the geese go like honk, honk, honk at you in return.
Mine.
Geese, get ready to get cooked.
The geese continue to move forward, pushing another goblin off into the salsa.
Are the goblins dying or just marinating?
I guess you could ask them. Oh, okay. All right. According to Twitch chat, they're marinating to death.
D.
And you hear one of the goblins go like, ah! Oh, this is pretty good. Ah!
D.
And then you hear one of the geese honk out, honk, honk! You guys want to stay for dinner? We're making goblin salsa! Fuck these guys!
D.
Goblin salsa sounds delicious, actually.
Okay, Pringle's interested. The geese yell, the flavor's immaculate! Flavor's incredible! You gotta try it!
Do the geese appear to be in the 6th grade?
Doug yells out across the crater, hey, are these goblins in 6th grade? They shout back, yeah, we grabbed them at the 5th grade graduation! Just barely 6th grade!
Pour cocaine into the salsa. Let the goblins take it from there.
Wow.
I do that.
Egg the bear runs to the side and throws a bunch of cocaine out on the goblin, who starts sniffing it.
Honestly, throw the goblins all in. I'll add some random vegetation I found into the mix.
Pringle moves up to the side and tosses some fresh herbs and spices into the salsa. And you hear from across the crater, hey, is that rosemary? That looks delicious.
I just want to get that goblin crisp like they're cooking in a wok. Fire punching a goblin.
Meanwhile, Doug runs over and says, delicious. Grabs a handful of the fiery hot salsa and then uses his signature technique, beat up 6th graders, to start punching this goblin who's near the side. So Doug punches him farther and farther and farther and farther and farther down in there until you can only see his little ears poking out of the top. This is looking delicious.
I shout back, yeah.
Punching 6th graders is a great workout.
Pringle yells back, yeah, it's rosemary and a little bit of cheese, Dill. And you hear the geese kind of shout back across, oh, wow, that sounds delicious. Well, thank you. We're so glad we ran into you. And as they say that, they start shoving the goblins forward again. Another one gets pushed out into the salsa.
Yummy.
Oh, wow, is that from the cheese forest? That looks delicious. You guys are fantastic cooks. Everybody
I want to be chair.
Okay, Egg, meanwhile, does his classic move. And the geese, you hear them shout out, just a few more minutes and the goblins will be ready. And dinner's served. This one moves over here and is just starting to like lick its beak lips.
I have been informed of a time staff by chat. Can I grab that if it's a thing?
Now, this is supposed to be improv. So back here, there is a gnarled staff.
I want to be a bear again and use polio.
I will grab the staff and use it to help mix the goblins in the salsa.
You realize that this is actually a pepper grinder.
Free pepper. Oh, this is perfect.
Ham.
I tell the goobs to play Marcio Polio, winner lives.
Marco Polio.
When you use Marco Polio, what does that mean?
Yes.
Egg uses his power polio and says to the goblins, we're playing Marco Polio. First one to reply gets polio, I guess. This one's busy doing cocaine, but this one just fell in. He's like, oh my god, what's happening? Wait, what do you mean Marco Polio?
This is the dumbest thing.
Casts polio onto the goblin, who is immediately paralyzed and falls over into the salsa. Meanwhile, the geese say, dinner's almost ready, and push the final goblin into the salsa.
Marcio Polio was my favorite game as a child.
Nice one, Egg.
And you watch as the remaining goblins slip deliciously into the salsa.
Just like Mom used to make back in Missouri.
These were supposed to be evil. I made them look aggressive, and you just teamed up with them to cook a bunch of goblins, who at no point have been described as evil.
Listen, geese are friends, not
Whoever said that this was a hero's arc? This is the Dark Urge.
Food.
As the remaining goblins slide deliciously and crisply into the salsa, the geese fly over and say, "It's been so long since we've had friends over for our famous goblin salsa. Let's dig in."
After dinner, I ask if the geese can give us a ride to our next location. My legs are pretty tired.
Wait, hold on. That's a good point.
Nom, eat.
This is like Lord of the Rings, when everybody was like, why didn't the eagles just
fly
them to the end?
Yeah.
Wait, you have a very good point.
I mean, I wouldn't want to go the whole way. They're going to be full of salsa.
But this has been going on for a while. We can skip the spelling bee. Or do you just want to be dropped off at the spelling bee?
They've already done so much for us.
I'm like trying to railroad you guys to speed up the campaign, and you're explicitly not using the
If they can
hook
just take us to the spelling bee.
You're stuck in this with us, Doug.
I literally...
There's no getting out of this early, Doug.
Whatever. All right, you guys asked the geese to fly you to the next location.
Have them take us to the otters.
I want to spell.
And they say, "Oh, yeah, of course." You guys enjoy a delicious plate of salsa together. It's even got that little bit of that cocaine flavor in it. And then you head out together, flying over to the spelling bee. Congratulations, you have defeated the volcano geese nest, and you are flown directly into the schoolhouse spelling bee contest. I just realized we've already established that all the school children in this Canada are goblins, so there's gonna be more goblins.
Do 6th graders catch polio easily?
Don't ask that question in any context ever. Okay, so it's a classroom full of goblin kids.
Can I smuggle in some alphabet soup to help me spell?
Sure. What is going on in the
Nice.
spelling bee? They are spelling. It's a cult that has a spelling bee for new members. Okay, I like the vibe of that. I'm just making it unnecessarily intense. A giant bee is making...
The teacher is a bee.
Okay, sure.
Evil spelling bee D.
I didn't write giant evil bee. I just wrote bee. Better burn it to death just to be safe. Goblins are spelling the word bee for no reason.
The goblins are on fire?
Also, the goblins are on fire. If you vote for that, we can add it to whatever else. So, I don't think that the goblins being on fire got enough votes to justify them being on fire. So, the result is that a giant bee is making them spell. Is the bee, like, good?
Evil bee.
Evil.
Okay, I'm gonna make it really fucking terrifying then.
It's gonna be the most cute thing ever, isn't it? That's not terrifying.
I think I speak for everyone when I say, ah.
Remember, kids, if you win the spelling contest, you get to take a field trip to Salsa Mountain.
How does this start?
Break down the door.
Okay. It was a pleasant day at the Fantasy Canada Spelling Bee. Just as the bee and the children are about to start, boom! The party burst into the front door, screaming,
Rah!
I do cocaine.
I do cocaine! Rah!
I smell weed in here.
And the evil bee turns to you and says, "We're just in time for the spelling bee! Come on, have a seat! Join us!" What do you do?
Challenge accepted.
I turn into a chair.
Doug walks up and says, "Yeah, right, I accept." And conveniently, Egg turns into a chair for him. And Doug sits on top of Egg. And the bee says, "Okay, great. Happy to have you here. All right, class. The first word of the spelling bee is...
Genocide.
Okay, class. Go ahead.
H.
This goblin yells out, G.
G.
And the bee says, "Oh, very good." This goblin says, "It's an E." And the queen bee says, "Oh, very good." And then, Egg the chair shouts out, H. You see the bee's eyes turn a different color.
Oh no, the Dark Souls boss.
And you see the bee turn its eyes towards you.
Oh no, he's high.
And say, "That's not how you spell genocide!" And the bee swings in for a sting, flying at Doug at full force. 12 or above, and she hits.
Aw, shucks.
5!
Oh,
Doug
she
manages to dodge out of the way by sitting stationary on the chair, and the bee shoots past and stabs this goblin with her stinger.
I jump off the chair.
Doug jumps off the chair. This goblin is impaled by the bee accidentally and falls in a pool of blood. The bee is flying around for another attack.
Change back into a bear.
Okay, Egg changes back to a bear. Poof! He's back.
Why are the irises not red? Why is it the other part of the ID?
I don't know, says the bee. I'm not very good at
Blood clot.
Bear shield.
Okay, Doug bravely jumps behind the bear as a shield.
So scary.
Pringles is scared too, jumps behind Egg the bear.
I offer cocaine to the bee.
And the bear says, "Would you like cocaine?" And the bee looks down at you menacingly.
Bear, please don't fart.
And the bee says,
Sure.
"Only if you can spell cocaine." right now. And she looks at you expectantly.
C-O-C-A-I-N.
C.
Yes, that's correct.
C?
Yes, that's the first letter.
Oh.
Yes, that's correct.
God damn it, I still have that expression of oh my god, there's this channel where they have this skit with Dora the Explorer, which she says to the audience, can you say cocaina?
Correct. Yes.
C.
Yes. C-O-C. Yes.
C.
Correct.
I look at my pan full of alphabetical soup.
A.
Yes, A. That is correct. C-O-C-A.
C?
Where?
I.
I. That's correct. C-O-C-A-I.
She moves in.
N.
And yes.
C
that's
is in there
correct.
somewhere.
One more letter.
E.
E. That was correct. I'm so happy to say that you guys win the spelling bee.
And all the goblins start clapping and cheering. Yay!
You're the smartest students I've ever had.
The goblins start coming over and patting you guys on the back and congratulating you. Wow, we've never had to spell that before.
Do we get a medal?
You get one of these random prizes. What are potential prizes for
I
the
beat
spelling
up the
bee?
goblins.
Come on.
The bee's gonna give you your prize first.
Honey.
Okay, honey, that's good for a spelling bee. Okay,
Cocaine?
her hat. Some people are saying the dead goblins. I don't know why that would be the prize. How about just all of the children?
A horse.
The nuclear launch code. Okay. Depending on what you roll, you get a random treasure. Okay.
Congratulations for winning the spelling bee. You win honey.
And passes over a gigantic bowl of honey. And the goblins all
Honeyweed
say,
time.
oh, that was gonna be our dinner.
Yay!
We were finally gonna eat this month.
I hear honey goes great with cocaine.
The goblins kind of look at you, Egg, and they're like, hey, can we have some of that, Mr. Bear?
Oh, don't forget.
No.
Dog was about to punch them.
Starve.
And they all look sad and go, oh, and go back to their desk. You guys have completed my spelling bee riddle. Any final actions in the classroom before you head out?
Throw chairs at them.
Meanwhile, Doug goes and picks up a table, holds it above his head, and then throws it at the goblins who run away screaming, ah! And the spelling bee says, well, you know, that's your right. You did win the spelling bee. And the party heads off to their next destination.
Imagine you're in class and a group of strangers break the door down, does copious amounts of cocaine while screaming, fights the teacher, steals your lunch, throws a table at you, then runs out shouting something about nukes and the king.
And that is a perfect segue into the final leg of the journey. As the party emerges, they travel the final way down the path towards the castle so they can help the king, who's doing his nukes or something. Okay, we know that there's a castle, and there's a king, and that there's 6th graders trying to set off nukes. Is there anything else that we want to add into this picture, or do I just start drawing? The king is tied to the nuke. That's good. The 6th graders want equal rights for goblins.
They could be doing it to get better grades.
Okay, I like that. They want extra credit. We need Goob. Goob is dead. Ghost Goob. Okay, sure, we'll have a Ghost Goob.
The only goblins alive in Fantasy Canada are children because their parents are imprisoned under the castle.
Why are we so fucked? The goblins.
Doug, what do you mean the king is strapped with the nuke? Or is he just strapping and handsome?
Both. I'm gonna do a little shading. Tell me if this is too fancy.
Oh, wow.
Too fancy. I like it. It looks good. It's too good.
I did a little bit of white to make it look glossy.
I need a cartoon king to strap to him.
Did we elect this guy?
It's a good question.
Is that Santa?
He's not Santa. I mean, there's a little. He's not Santa.
Wait, who's leading the goblins?
That's true. They do need like a leader of some kind.
A 7th grader.
What's the classic difference between being a 7th grader and a
hair?
How do we distinguish him?
Chest hair.
Long hair.
Height.
Yep, puberty.
But like only a little bit, right? Okay, I'll stretch him a tiny bit and okay.
Yeah, and
really
acne.
Final
Definitely.
Boss. What would Ghost Goob be doing?
Ghost Goob whispering into the 7th grader's ear to egg him on.
Okay, yeah, I like that. There's a treasure chest back here. Popcorn chest. No, it's full of, well, it could be popcorn. As the adventurers barge in through the open castle walls, they're met with a horrifying scene, like a dozen 6th grade goblins standing around the very king of Fantasy Canada strapped to a nuke.
Aya Hawk.
And the king screams out, oh, adventurers, please rescue me from this nuke! Don't let them destroy Fantasy Canada! Meanwhile, one goblin looks about 5% taller than the rest, and his voice crackles just a little bit, and he says, "No! Us goblins want good grades! Do you know how many of us have been killed when we didn't spell methamphetamine correct?" And the king, he says, "Why do this to Fantasy Canada? You've always loved us!" And being put into salsa. And that's when you notice that there's a shadowy figure next to the 7th grader. The iconic Goob whispering into the 7th grader's ears, convincing him to do acts of horrific evil.
Oh fuck, not this guy again.
Twitch chat, if you donate messages, that will be the king's messages from now on. Adventurers, what do?
Light the nuke and run.
You hear the 7th grader yell out, "We'll do it! We'll launch the nuke!" But before he can finish the sentence, Doug starts running forward, holding his Bic lighter.
Doug, no.
And the 7th grader says, "Holy fuck, no, hold on!
Doug, make fire!
This is a bluff! We weren't actually gonna set it off!" And he tries to stop you. You're running at full speed. He needs to roll a 14 or above to stop you.
Let's go.
Doug runs past the goblins and sets the Bic lighter right at the base of the nuke.
I aim my time staff at Doug and fire.
As Doug is leaning forward, Pringles runs forward with the time staff in an attempt to stop this madness. Reaches out with the time staff, and some delicious pepper comes out onto the bottom.
It's a time staff. Oh no, not the seasoning, when she thought that it was going to be a measurement for the units of moment passed.
Bottom, very nice. It just kind of seasons the floor a little bit. Meanwhile, Doug leans forward with the Bic lighter.
It's well seasoned, yeah.
14 or above will launch the nuke.
Sneezes.
Wow.
And as Doug runs forward, you hear the flame ignites, and suddenly, boom! A massive explosion erupts from underneath the rocket, and you hear the king yell out,
"Wait a second, is that guy from Missouri? I'm fucked."
As the rocket engines begin, and you see the king shoot off into the atmosphere. Any words as this is happening?
I hereby decree that all Bic lighters are now illegal.
The king shouts out, "No more Bic lighters!"
I attempt to rewind time on the nuke.
Pringles attempts to grab the time staff and rewind the time, and that just sprays more delicious pepper onto the ground.
Hashtag not my Doug.
Back in the overworld, everybody runs screaming.
Pog.
All the goblins are running for their lives. The 7th grader yells, "We just wanted good grades!" And you look up into the sky. Certainly the nuke won't land. Certainly the nuke malfunctioned. You wait for just a moment until you see the king on his rocket slowly shooting down towards Earth.
I do cocaine to try
I want to run back to the
I cast
castle.
scramble on the king.
Wait, why? Doug runs back into the castle hoping it'll help him. Goob looks at you, Egg, and he says, "Can I have a little cocaine before we die?"
I will save him.
Pringle casts scramble, and for some reason,
Hey, race a bump, bro.
swaps himself with the king, who finds himself
Jump in
on the
the water.
ground next to his subjects. Pringle now, strapped to the nuke, is watching it careen towards the earth.
Throw it in the volcano.
It'll give the king some cocaine to run faster as well.
Okay. Egg goes and gives a bunch of cocaine to Goob and the king.
I use my pansexuality on the nuke.
Pringle the frying pan looks at the nuke and attempts to seduce it. The goblins are all screaming in the background. Ah! The king and Goob and Egg are just doing cocaine. Doug's hiding in the castle. He's probably going for the popcorn.
I love you, nuclear energy weaponized into an explosive device. I've always loved you.
Okay, now this is a nuke and not a living creature, but just maybe you can pull it off. 13 or above, and it just gets through to him.
Pulls in that 20, yeah.
Unfortunately, the cold, calculating eyes of the nuke do not look back at you because it is an inanimate object. And as Goob and the king and Egg
Nuke, please.
do one last line,
We are so porked.
the nuke crashes into the cheese woods, where, by the way, Goob is still laying, and explodes in a
I
massive
cast
fire!
scramble on the 7th grader.
Oh, okay, wait, hold on before that happens. Pringle uses scramble one more time, swaps out, and the 7th grader swaps places onto the nuke and screams, "Wait, what the fuck?" As the rocket goes down and boom! Explodes over everything! Fantasy Canada is saved!
Congratulations, Doug.
You did it.
And as the fire and the flames slowly fade away, you realize that, sadly, the frying pan and the goblins and the king and the bear have all perished in the nuclear explosion.
Except for Doug.
But Turns out Doug made it out alive. Doug was safe in the castle. It was nuke-proof. Let's go, Doug! And that means Doug is the new king of Fantasy Canada and gets to enjoy all the popcorn to himself. Let's go, Doug! Ooh, 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 ooh.
I will hang you, Doug.
Let's go, victory, y'all are dead like
Till
Coop.
the end of this bag.
Good job, Doug.
And literally nobody except Doug lived happily ever after.
07 Pringle, you will be missed.
I curse you.
No,
with
I'm gonna
horrible
set all of
quality
Canada on
cocaine.
fire.
Oh, and thus
no.
Doug made his way to the center of Fantasy Canada and set the entire thing on fire. The end.
07.
And that, dear viewer, is the beautiful story of how a magical frying pan of bear on cocaine and old man Doug traveled across all of Canada and blew it up with a nuke. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Wow. This is the most on shit that I've ever seen. It's beautiful. Oh god, that was so awesome. The time staff bit was genius. Rewind time is just a bit more pepper. It was so good. Guys, thank you so much for recommending this to me and of course for watching. Please do make sure to go and subscribe to DougDoug, and of course if you liked the reaction, don't forget to hit that like button. Hope that you had a great time watching this, and I wish you all to have a wonderful day. See you guys in the next one. Bye.